This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
The concept of becoming your own God is about reclaiming your power and recognizing that you are the creator of your own reality. We live in a world where many of us seek guidance, support, and validation from external sources. We believe that someone else has the answers to our problems and can provide us with the tools to create the life we desire. From a young age, we are taught to seek approval from others and to base our self-worth on external factors such as our achievements, appearance, and social status. However, what if we told you that you already possess all the power you need to manifest your dreams and desires? What if we told you that you are your own God with the ability to create and shape your reality? Valeria interviews Reverend Dr. Kimmie Van Duijkeren. She is the author of Becoming Your Own God. Reverend Dr. Kimmie has been an ordained minister since 2003 and is a professional certified spiritual life coach and mindfulness coach. Through her intuitive guidance, she helps her clients rediscover their true purpose and get in touch with their higher self in order to reclaim their personal power in all aspects of life. Using the combination of tailored coaching plans and addressing the beliefs that are holding them back, she works with clients to create a personalized journey of self-completeness and transformation. Meet Reverend Dr. Kimmie at revdrkimmie.com. That's RevDrKimmie.com. Here's the interview with Rev. Dr. Kimmie Van Duijkeren.
In your own words, who is Reverend Dr. Kimmie Van Duijkeren?
Well, I am someone who's always studied spirituality of all types, be it Buddhism or Christianity. I have been ordained since 2003. I'm a spiritual life coach, certified spiritual life coach, and a certified mindfulness coach. And I just want to help people tap into their higher self and reclaim their personal power. And so that's the basis of my message. And I just want to make sure everyone starts to love again.
Would you say that starts with self-love, Kimmie?
Yes, you have to love yourself before you love anyone else. You just have to. And the thing about self-love is it is a journey, and it's a personal journey, and everyone's journey to self-love and discovery is different.
That is true. It's very unique. So with that in mind, I would like to ask this question. How was your journey on self-love? What is like to love oneself from your perspective?
Oh, man, my journey. I don't know if I can put it in words, but I'll try. I've always been a person who was outspoken yet reserved, but always told, because sometimes women, be quiet a little bit here, be a bit there. But I had parents that gave me that independence. So I think I always had a little bit of it, but I lost it. And it's possible to lose that self-love. You can have it and then lose it. And I was overweight for a while, and I'm still a little chunky. No offense. But I think when I starting to look deeper within was really maybe 5 years ago. Really starting to, do more affirmations to heal myself, and really just began to see everything clearer about myself and notice that a lot of the suffering that you create is self-inflicted wounds on your spirit. And so I think it was a long journey, but I'm glad that I got through it. And of course, we are always going to have a day where we may not feel the best. But under all of it, if you're still loving yourself and making sure you don't talk negatively to yourself or create suffering out of overthinking or any of that, baggage, that, you can really, everyone can get to a point of self love.
Mm. Yes, and there are different levels to it from what I see. My own
Mhm.
journey it started with self-care. That was taking better care of the body, and then watching, kind of being more mindful about the content of my mind and all
Mhm.
that. And now kind of progressed, evolved into the wonderment of how amazing it is to be something that's non-physical and that's everywhere and in everything. Or
Mhm.
better yet, it's everything's in it. So that to me is it's like, I mean, what I say usually is what's not to love about it? It's just wonderful to
Right.
see this essence everywhere in different bodies and in the form of nature and the universe itself. So that's where I am now. But I know that in the very beginning, it started with the body, the mind. Is that for everyone in a way, in general, Kimmie? Is that how it starts? Taking care of the body, calling that
I
self-love?
actually think it does start with that because, like with mine, like I had just said, it kind of was with my weight and feelings and things, and it just kind of progressed where I got comfortable in my own skin. And when you start to um, get to the spiritual side of it, you start to understand that you are a unique being. Period. Full stop. You aren't Tom. You are not Mary. You're not whoever. You are yourself. And as soon as you realize that you are unique because you are just a child of the universe and your shell is different than someone else's shell, that you can start to understand that doesn't matter. Everything else doesn't matter. You are yourself. You can't be everything for everyone else. You can't people please for everyone else. You have to start with self-love, and then it builds your confidence in your power, you
Yeah.
know, your inner.
Yes. Yes, that's a beautiful message about uniqueness. And it's sad to see that so many humans have become so, let's see, lost within the mental constructs and mental mind content that there's way too much discrimination of
Oh,
oneself and then others, and then this sense of separation, everything, living as this little, let's say, entity that trying to fight our way through life, protecting, kind of pushing away, trying to attract, let's say, wealth and pleasure and all that. It's really sad to see. And of course, I say I'm talking from my own perspective of being this way at a young age. And then growing up that way too until I was 37, around 37, everything changed. I wonder why too, Kimmie, and we talked briefly off record about, why some of us seem to be much more interested in exploring our inner world, and some seem not to have any interest at all. Do you have any idea? I have my ideas, but do you have some ideas?
well, I think people are scared. I think they're scared, and it shouldn't be scary to know yourself. Um, and and not to borrow from Christianity and all, but there's I forget where it comes from, but the kingdom of God is within you. It's one of my favorite little Bible blips, and the main reason is because you're scared, but you are divine. So don't be scared to know yourself. And a lot of times I think we separate. We're in this world where we're, our eyes are seeing things. Mind you, it's just light reflected, but we're seeing things, and we get so distracted, and our ego and life gets in the way. And I think we just sometimes don't even take the time to know what we really want because we're too scared to ask ourselves.
Wow. Yes. I talked recently with somebody, I think it was yesterday actually, about addiction. And I remember, he was saying that. He's a coach, psychologist, a therapist, and a coach, that the foundation of addiction is self-hatred and fear, basically. So do you see a difference between loving oneself and liking oneself?
I don't think so. You can love and like yourself. I don't see why. I mean, I like people that I don't love in
Yes.
in
Yeah.
a romantic sense, but as a human, on this planet, I still love them. That's what love is: unconditional love for everything. So, uh, I don't think you can. You have to learn to. Maybe you need to like yourself first, then start working on the love.
That's an interesting twist there. Yes, I don't know. It feels like loving is, I mean, my definition of love. Perhaps I have to ask you the question, what is love to you first? Because I have my own ideas of what love is. And that doesn't fit the liking kind of qualities
Well,
that we attribute to things.
yeah, well, I don't know. I've never been asked that question, so I'm just kind of like, But like
Yeah.
for love, I feel I think it's love unconditionally. Of course, that's separate than romantic love. That's a totally different thing. I'm talking about more just unconditional love. Because love can say no, love can be loud, love can be radical. It's a respect and it's a devotion and it's a empathy that you have for other beings on this planet that share it with. So I kind of look at love as like a um an all encompassing, like almost like a blanket you wrap yourself in because you are so in awe with everything around you. So like to me, like kind of just I like, like I'm one of those people that's very hard to like certain things even. Or maybe
Yes,
that's more
right.
because I'm like, sometimes
Yes.
I like something or I geek out on something. It's like, but I feel love is more of like a transcendental because love is the ultimate full stop. Everything that's the foundation for everything. So
I love, we're using the word love again, this definition of love, because that makes sense to me. That's probably the way I think or feel from the body mind complex, what love is. Yes, that would be something all inclusive, right? So there's no discrimination, there's no separation. It's almost like
oh,
freedom itself. Okay, everything's free
right.
to be whatever it wants to be.
Yeah.
So,
And as someone that's biracial, the whole discrimination that's going on in today's world, it hurts my soul because we're all human. We all walk this earth. We're all spiritual beings having an earthly existence, and we don't act like it.
yes, we have forgotten, haven't we? We have forgotten. That's the title of your book I want to mention now. So, Becoming Your Own God. Talk to me about the concept. I mean, I love the concept. I have to use the word love and like and have devotion for anything that has to do with knowing your own truth, your own essence. So, talk to me about the inspiration and also the concept of becoming your own God. Such a powerful topic.
Thank you. Well, the inspiration was just how do I put into words how I feel about just connection to everything. And, we are divine beings and we've forgotten who we are, all of us. And in order to get back to who you are, you first need to look within. And the concept really is like becoming your own God. It's about connecting with your own divinity. It resolves around the recognizing and embracing your inherent power, your wisdom, your potential as an individual, the human spirit. And it emphasizes the importance of self-realization, self-empowerment, self-mastery in order to create a fulfilling and meaningful life. So it's really about just getting to the essence of your being and giving someone the tools, via meditation or affirmations to really do the work and stop being scared and look within in a
Yes.
nutshell.
Yes, yeah. I'll be asking you more questions. I have some comments, some notes here that I made that I took from your book. So I'll just read them to you. But before that, so it's almost sounds like, let's say, a paradox that we are God, but we have to practice in a way to recognize that. Isn't it interesting that we have to unlearn? It's basically the process of unlearning, isn't it?
Yes, you're right. It is about unlearning. Yeah. Because, and now mind you, I'm a humanist, but I think we have, as a whole, depending on what you practice, if it's a different religion, but the way religions were set up was for power structures, societal power structures. But the fundamental truths are still in those books. It's just that they've been mistranslated, misinterpreted, and then people get a hold of them and they decide what they mean. And then they spout what they mean. And there's this separation between anything spiritual and you hear. And I wish I knew the quote. It's a Kabbalion quote, but it's as below, so above, as above, so below. And that variation, there's variations of that in almost every religion, but it's truth because everything is.
Yeah, everything is.
It just is, you know. Don't worry about questioning the connection. You should be able to feel it, and just the wonder of the universe alone sometimes is enough for me. But there are always the days that you go,
yes. It's almost like the energy. It's contracted. There's something about that. We were talking off record about how women, right? We feel when we have a period of pain, anything like that. It's
our crone years.
That changes. Even with pain, like for children too, I would say anybody, right? That would change some of the energetic, let's say, direct contact with the God nature that's within everyone. So what came to mind, I think it was recently, 2 or 3 days ago. Yeah, about 2 days ago. I'm always contemplating these things. I think I was talking to somebody too about it. The foundation is one. It's one essence that creates everything. So there's no separation at all. And that is non-physical. So when you think about it, really, how is it possible to create something that we call physical from something that's non-physical? It's not possible, right, Kimmie? So in a way, it's just an illusion that the physical exists. It's actually everything's non-physical.
Well, everything's non-physical, but the way we create things is the power of our mind, the power of the human spirit. It's the basis really behind manifesting to some degree. You are able to create, but you have to put in the work. You can't just go, I'm going to want $1 million today. Okay, go. That doesn't work. You have to put in the effort, and the universe is basically the energetic force that creates and helps you create with your thoughts. And if you're doubting yourself or causing yourself suffering, you are going to have that reflected in the world around you. We are a mirror.
So everything is what we see is a reflection of what is in our minds, which is, of course, very much non-physical thoughts and ideas and all that.
Right.
Yes. I was thinking about when speaking of manifestation, I know you teach mindfulness. Mm-hmm. That's a practice that will lead us to a sense of control, I would say, of the mind. Is that what we are looking for, to kind of direct thoughts and, in a sense, trying to control them? Or it's kind of being open to what they are, just thoughts, and knowing that we are not thoughts?
I think with manifestation and thoughts, it's not about correcting. It's more about correcting what we're thinking, because it's not about you have these self-doubts, and they start there with a thought, and it just keeps going and going and going, and then you're looking around your life going, why is all this bad stuff happening to me? And you're like, but your mind is just going and going. And so you're manifesting all this stuff and you don't realize you are because you don't even understand that you're doing it. If you can get to a point where you use mindfulness, for one, you slow down, you learn to be present, and just sometimes I just sit, and just be present. And just if you do hear certain things that are negative, you can correct those in your mind with positive self-talk. Or you can, while you're doing like meditation or a mindfulness exercise, you notice it, but you don't, you notice it, you label it, but you don't let it interfere with you. So it's really about being able to be present in everything you do. And that can be hard. I mean, even for me.
Yes, it's a practice, isn't it?
Right. It definitely is. It's not like, hey, I'm going to do mindfulness and I did it today. Yay, I'm good. Oh, no, that's not.
Yes, I'm good forever. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, it's an
sure.
everyday thing. But yeah, it's really about, and when I mean like manifestation. With manifestation, it's a thought process. It begins there because when you think about it, like we were saying before, you're a spiritual being in a human body. Your mind is there, but if someone took your brain out, your body wouldn't move. There's a connection, but it's not like it's like it's a vessel. So who you are is who you are inside, and the challenge for a lot of people is to getting to that inner truth so they know who they are, so then they can move about the world in a way that is peaceful, meaningful, fulfilling, and really getting into like their inner self, like find their inner peace.
Yes, right. Is that what? So that would be becoming your own God. Yeah. Do you also use the idea of spiritual enlightenment? Would that be the same?
I mean, yeah, in a way, it could be translated a couple of different ways for this. It's basically about finding your own inner deity and listening to your intuition and doing the work to, find that inner peace, find your inner strength, and really remembering who you are.
Yes, yeah, that's we all need to remember that, even if in those smallest, I mean, in day-to-day life, that's what it is. That's one of the things that I'm constantly kind of contemplating and reflecting upon. It's how can I make this moment a divine moment? And it's all that's always the longing. I would say it's interesting. There's something about longing and desire. I usually don't use the word desire for some reason. I like longing better because it feels like once the mind starts to kind of connecting with this idea, with this perfume of longing to be in touch with my own divinity, then it automatically seems to happen. I'm already connected instantly. I don't know if that happens. Is that something that you have experienced too, Kimmie?
I think it is a constant connection, but sometimes we just don't see it. And that's when we are in a moment of maybe not being present or getting caught up in the day-to-day operations, like you were saying. Like you could be working and you might make an error or something, and you don't even know that you're doing things on automatic. And I think that's a challenge for anyone, to be honest. But the longing, I kind of like that because it's like a striving for.
Yes.
Because we're perfect beings because we are who we are.
Yes.
But we're gonna, in this world, we may not be seen as perfect to this person or that person, and that's them esteem. I don't even worry about that, other people's opinions. But you, as long as you're able to tune into yourself, even if it's for 5 minutes, it sometimes changes your whole day. So
yes, and it really, really does. So desire, do you actually distinguish those two ideas, concepts, longing and desire, or they are one, the same from your perspective?
I think I like longing better. I've never really used those terms in that context, but desire to me is more, I don't know. I just don't like, I don't know. I agree with you on longing.
Yeah, it feels more external to me, desire, doesn't it? Looking for things.
Desire seems like wishing.
Yes,
And
right.
wishing is not a good thing.
No, no, I don't think so. Yeah, because it's a wishing, think about it, wishing to be happy, right? Rather than, maybe I can be happy now. I don't have to wish or
Right.
wait.
Always thinking of it, putting it off. That's why I think I like longing.
Yes, right. There's something about that word that for some reason it kind of, when I'm about to use the word desire, then longing comes along and kind of intersects and goes in front of it. And yeah, and that I think is something that's probably is coming from the spiritual mind that I'm often in contact with. So it's always kind of teaching me some little things. So you mentioned too, I think off record, and I read that Becoming Your Own God, the book that you have written, is also the foundation for your online coaching program. Is the program available on your website at this time, Kimmie, or?
I'm still working on it because I have to do all the videos.
Right.
All the stuff is written out. I just have to do the videos.
Okay. Yeah. So do you have any idea when it will be out?
Probably next month or so. I just have to get a lot of stuff done on the videos. The whole basis is really revolving around the book. So all I had to really do is take the book and break it down into sections like manifestation, mindfulness, self-love, self-worth, getting yourself free from external validation. So it's like I want to make sure I cover all the bases and actually include one-on-one counseling with coaching with it. So it's not just a standalone, program. I want it to be personal because each person has their own things they need to work on. So.
Yes, that is so true. And the first one is the constructed misunderstanding. I love the way you say about correcting the mind. That really reminded me of the A Course in Miracles. Not sure if you heard about that book.
Oh, I have.
You do, yeah. So they talk a lot about correcting the mind. So there has been a mistake here. So yeah, so that's your work is all, to me, it comes across like very much clearly that way. So making that correction, kind of the misunderstanding that we are not God. But talk to me for a moment about that, a little bit more about this idea of becoming your own God. Why do most of us reject or automatically think that, think with the logical mind, that it's not possible. We cannot be God. I have heard that so many times.
It's because of teachings that have really sunk into our consciousness in society, I think. We take the word God, and that's another part of the reason why I chose that word, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it just out loud, is that kind of take that word back, because without human beings, there would be no words. So we can have it mean whatever it wants to mean. And when you look at a lot of Abrahamic religions or whatnot, when they use the word God or Allah, they're even though if the books are saying it's concept and learn from these parables, the teachers, some of them, not all, the teachers tend to draw this line that God is up there, you are down here, that is it, have a great day. And they don't even go into any of the really life lessons that any of those books provide. So by using the name God, as opposed to, because the whole thing was becoming your own God. And then my tagline for stuff that I do is discovering your inner divinity. And that's really the essence of all of this, because you are divine. You are divine just because you exist on this planet. And you are a part of everything. You have the material of stars in your blood. Everything is connected. We are earthlings. We were birthed from this planet, and so we, to use the word God is just to kind of nail it on the head in a way, because you are divine. And once you can get into this concept of, because basically it's really about self-mastery and self-empowerment and spirituality and feeling that connection. And a lot of people in this world lately, I notice, are especially with the pandemic, just dying for some type of connection.
Yeah.
And it's right there all the time.
Yeah.
You just have to look inside.
Yes, within, right.
Mhm,
You see,
mhm.
that's fascinating what you said about religion and all kinds of spiritual philosophies and religions around the world. They are all, the fundamental truth is that we are one, everything's connected. That the idea of seeing the other person as you see yourself, treating the other person as you treat yourself, because of
Yeah.
that fundamental truth that we are all children of God. So
Mhm.
that would change everything, right, Kimmie? This reality would be so different if we understood that fundamental truth that
Yeah.
everything
I
is
really,
God.
I really think it would, because the way we are going right now saddens me, and I'm kind of empathic. So it just, sometimes it makes me really, really sad. And sometimes I can handle it good. But some days I cry. And it's just because that simple realization is not heard. No one's speaking about it. And and all the hate that we have in this world, the only thing that can combat that is love, unconditional love. And in order to love someone else unconditionally, you have to start to love yourself unconditionally and understand who you are. And once you get that, it sometimes it's hard to deal with people who don't get it, but it's just, it's such a fundamental part of our human existence. And once we get on that page, we can, I mean, the conscious level, people wake up all the time with their consciousness level. And if we could just get on that same page, this planet would be more healed. There'd be more love, less war, I think, and so
Yes.
that's how I see it anyway.
Yes, yes. What can I say? Absolutely would change everything. So basically, what the main issue is ignorance. We are ignoring fundamental truth, and I know you mentioned society and all that. So I have heard that before. I hope it's not true. That there are actually people with a lot of power to, let's say, influence masses, that they, of the human mind, that they are actually very aware of this, that most people are ignorant of their own inner power. So they take advantage of that by,
Yes,
using distraction as,
I honestly think I sadly agree with that, and I don't agree with it lightly, but I kind of do, and it's sad. It's sad because, yeah, because if you are the holders of the knowledge, and instead of sharing it and helping people understand it, you decide to let greed and hatred and your ego, you know, want to control other people for your benefit. You're denying them their, for lack of a better word, birthright
yes,
as a human.
it's a challenge to kind of even for me to conceive this idea that there are people out there that they know this and they use as a manipulation tool. Yeah, it is a sad thing. I hope not. I hope that, I mean, I'm thinking here, it just might be that they are ignorant and they have to be ignorant themselves to,
Well, I
right?
mean, I guess it's kind of like a two-sided coin, because there might be people that are just completely ignorant. Because if someone manipulated you from in the past and that's what you've been taught and that's what your belief system is, you won't know any better. So there is a level of ignorance depending on who the person is, basically, I think. So it's probably a 50-50 thing.
Yes, that's true. It's also the other side allowing, right, that to go on.
Right.
That's a very good point. Yes, see, not blaming. I don't like the idea of blaming anything or anyone. You say that beautifully in your book, Becoming Your Own God. You say something, yeah, about taking responsibility, but you also talk about being a victim. Oh, yeah, as you said, becoming your own God is about recognizing that you are not a victim of your circumstances, but rather a co-creator of your own reality, of your reality. That's so true. So no blaming, not trying to. That's an interesting thing. You can only do that when you tap into your own power. Then you just yeah, it's so different the way we behave.
Once you start causing your own suffering, a lot of things start to fall into place, really.
Yes, true. And going back to this awakening, I think that's what most people call it, awakening to your own power. It is.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the only purpose of the human experience of being here now, if we can call this a lifetime. It would be to kind of uncover that truth, right, Kimmie? And I think that'll be it if we can do that for ourselves.
Yeah, because I mean, embracing your own godhood, for again, lack of a better word, means, taking full responsibility for your life. And it's empowering you to make conscious choices and decisions that align with your values and your desires in life. So you are the master of your own destiny. The universe is just your backup.
Yes. And I would assume that from that perspective, we would do kind of desire, if I can use that word, or long for things that would help ourselves and others, and the universe and the earth.
Right.
Right. That's like automatically comes with that understanding that everything's connected.
I really do, because when you realize that you are connected to everything, it is an awakening, because you're going to be seeing things with a new perspective. And once that perspective kicks in, then maybe other questions might come, and you might have more questions of yourself, but you'll know where you stand. You'll understand what you value most.
So we don't have to worry about that, like the things we do, because in the actions, because it's almost like a trust, isn't it, Kimmie? We trust that energy, that essential energy, to just guide us. I see sometimes that I try not to connect the essence, this energy of God, of the source, divinity, with the body-mind. I really try not to, because I know that I'm not the body and I'm not the mind. So I'm just having that experience, and it feels very much like I am. But there is, I'm just witnessing that becomes the experience, the witnessing the body, mind, and its activities. But it really feels to me like it's almost like that removes all the shame, the guilt, and all that. Because sometimes we tend to think that the body is not, let's say, is not worthy in the sense of being divine for what it does. It's always constantly asking for this and that, food, and it has to be cleaned and all. It's almost like too demanding in a way to be divine. There's no freedom there.
It would be awesome. We'd just be like, hey, I'm energy floating around. No need for hours now.
Yes, right.
Yes.
Yeah. But, but it's a sense of freedom, because when I really kind of stop to think about the body and the mind, it's so limited. It's very limiting. So there's no freedom there. There's no freedom. The body will go. It could go at any moment. It could just become ashes. And then the mind, too, is constantly changing. Everything's changing. The thoughts, memories, ideas. So the only thing I hold down to is that this awareness. I know that there's something here that's noticing the movements of body, mind. So that's who I am. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
that makes sense, because that's kind of like, in a nutshell, being present, because you're noticing.
Yes, and that noticing is God.
Right.
Who is noticing has to be this energy that we call God, the source, the divine. It doesn't really mix itself with anything. So and that's what I say, what's not to love about it, because it's witnessing everything, which we call experience, but it's not really... It doesn't become it. It doesn't become the experience. It just witnesses. It just kind of illumines. It's like the sun, that we are able to see everything because the sun's showing us what's here when it's not dark. So that's how I see this idea of the essence in God. It's the light that shows us. And that's fun, isn't it? Why not? Because I think then the energy, the sun cannot really... it wouldn't be able to know anything else if it doesn't have this illusion that it's separated or it's watching something. So that's how I'm able to play with this, because I know how much suffering there is here with the limitations of body, mind. So that makes me very peaceful when I think about that. For some reason.
That is my whole, when what brings me to peace, I think, is just the connection, because I'm a geek when it comes to science and astrology and planets, and I always have been. So I think of it as the wonder of just what's out there, and we're connected. And it's just like, sometimes it's just a very religious experience for me to just sit and just feel what's going on, and that energy, that direct link we all have. And if you're not tuned in, you might miss it sometimes.
Yes, that is so true. There's so much, right, Kimmie, to be aware of, that sometimes we just focus on a few things. I'm sure that's how limited the senses are. But I love the energy healing and the mystical experiences, because we are using different, it's almost like a fifth, sixth sense, something that's not really, has nothing to do with the body mind. It really feels like it's dreamlike.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it, because it really does.
Yeah, that feels more, in a way, that feels more real to me a lot of times than the physical reality. But this is another conversation for another podcast. Non-duality, isn't it? We are almost at the end. I do have, I want to make some more questions for you, the ending questions. But before that, let's see, I want to mention that your website has some fun products that I was looking at it. They are beautifully designed by you, I found out. You have notebooks, iPhone cases, coasters, mugs, unisex t-shirts, candles, bags.
I'm working on more journals.
You are, yes. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, that helps a lot, doesn't it? To expose our own thoughts. and
journaling is awesome.
It is, Kimmie. So you have all these fun, and I love how fun it is, the colors and everything. That's so wonderful. We talked about this, light and playfulness. And then the services, you offer spiritual coaching, mindfulness coaching, and minister services as well. So before we say goodbye for today, and I ask you these ending questions, would you like to add anything that you left unsaid or read a passage in your book?
Oh, I think we're good.
We are.
Okay. So.
Yeah, so I have the ending questions. Let's see. I have way too many. I'll ask you this one. Okay. What do you love most about being in the human body, or being in the human body as of now?
Ooh, interesting. Okay, so just being in my human shell, I think I love the way, and this may sound weird, but the ability to express the inside. I'm someone who loves fashion and things like, I love going to thrift stores and have piercings and have tattoos. It's this self-expression of kind of like my inside. So, and I'm one of those people where I don't I'll dress for an occasion, but I just like, what do I feel like today? So it's kind of like the outside mirror should, sometimes matches the inside. So I think I like the playfulness of it, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Never thought of it that way. Gosh. So from that perspective, or without comparing, it feels like I am very serious then. Yeah, I usually use those fitness clothes, and I'm very casual. But I'm not playful with the way I dress, and I don't have tattoos. And I don't change the color of my hair like a different. So it's not playful. You see, that's why I'm like, wait a minute, but I'm playful in so many ways. I laugh a lot and all that, but not really with the body. Perhaps with the mind. Yeah, with conversations like this, that's where I have the most fun, I guess.
Beautiful conversation. So.
Yes, I love these conversations. Like you said before, Kimmie, you said everyone is unique, right? We express that divinity or that personality, even the egoic personality. It's so colorful. I mean, we can't deny that. It's beautiful. And then my last question is this one: what 3 experiences you wish everyone to have before they lose the body, before they die?
Oh, 3 experiences. Like physical experiences? Because we're talking about the body, right?
Yeah, it could be any kind of experience, any kind.
Oh, man. Well, in the body, you're able to see, smell, and taste and touch. So I feel that everyone should experience things like, for example, mindful eating, let flavors linger, enjoy the fact that you have these sensations. clothing, like I said, you play with yourself and your personality, but really just and experience nature. Um, I feel a little off balance lately. I know because I live in the city, and I'm like, the other day I was like, I really want to go to the forest for like a week and go camping. So really, just take in the beauty that's around you and play with yourself, and not to be too serious, and experience the sensations that come with the body. If that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, very much. I love that. I love your wisdom. What's not to love about the things you say and what you're doing in this reality, your expression here. It's truly beautiful. Thank you, Kimmie, for being you. We need to see more of this, more of this playful spiritual expression in this reality. And we are seeing, I guess, right? Yeah, you see, I talk to a lot of people, and then it really feels like a lot more of us are becoming more ourselves, in the sense of becoming our own God. But then when we go out there, when I go to the store or whatever it is, even with my neighbors and my family, then it doesn't feel that way. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute. When I talk to people here, it feels like the world's completely different. I guess you see, that's why I love the idea that everything's explored from within. So it might be the way I see reality. It's just perfect, everything, as it is. As from this perspective here, because we can't be, we are everywhere at the same time, but when it comes to body-mind experience, it's very localized. It becomes very limiting.
Yes.
Which is good, right?
It's good and bad, because it's you can experience all these wonderful things while we're in this form. And at the same time, like you said, you step out and you see other people expressing their self, you start to sometimes feel that separation. And I think that's clouds our judgment, because we're not separated, but we look separated, because that's what our vision is telling us, not our senses, our vision. So. Yes,
right. So you see, it's that practice of trusting that non-physical, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That essence more than anything else, and almost not ignore and deny the sensory perception, but kind of looking deeper, always looking deeper into it. What a beautiful play, I have to say, this whole life thing. Thank you so much. It is, Kimmie. It is fun. Thank you so much for your presence again in this reality, exactly the way you are. It's truly beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. This was a beautiful conversation, and so.
Before we say goodbye for today, where's the best place to find more information about you and your work?
Oh, it's just my website, reverendrkimmie.com.
Yes, and I do have the link here, so I'll have that. Oh yeah, are you on social media too, Kimmie? Or
I'm on Facebook, mostly for family. I have a Twitter account. My Twitter has me as Reverend Dr. Kimmie, but it's just a hodgepodge. Sometimes it's like today I posted something, like a collective tarot reading, but sometimes I'm just complaining about stuff, but I'm there.
Yeah, it's good to know. I'll have the website link on your podcast profile as well. Thank you so much again, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now, Kimmie.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Reverend Dr. Kimmie Van Duijkeren and her work, please visit revdrkimmie.com. That's RevDrKimmie.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.